So today we're going to talk about all the legal steps I took to open my small business, all the boring, legal rigmarole that's in the way of me having fun and making stuff and selling stuff. There are lots of ways to go about opening your small business, but the two most popular are like sole proprietor, DBA situations, and opening an LLC. Definitely pros and cons to both, but I chose an LLC personally because I wanted the protection for my personal assets and for my business to have its own liability, legal liabilities, a corporation, right? So that, God forbid, anything happens. If the LLC goes down, it'll only take itself with it. Next came the official registering of my LLC, which I did through LegalZoom. I don't know about you guys, but I get deathly afraid that I'm somehow accidentally, unknowingly breaking a law by not submitting the correct form, forgetting to do this, forgetting to do that. So I wanted to use a service that would take care of all that for me and just, pay a little bit extra. But I wanted to make sure everything was said and done at the end of the day. So this is what I did. I went to LegalZoom, I went to the business, I went to limited liability company, and I just chose basic. You go to form your LLC, enter your business name. Spoiler. So we'll do something like, right. Next, then you choose your location. I'll choose Colorado. Then you do your blah 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 at Gmail. I have to cut out this part because I don't want you guys to know my phone number, but this is what I did. Pick your industry. I believe this would be retail, perhaps? Or can you choose e-commerce? No! E-commerce, next. Next, it'll take you to the screen. It's just telling you the compliance filings and the essential documents that you'll need. And then it gives you the option to just check a plan for LegalZoom to do all of this automatically for you. You don't have to do any of this. I'm just letting you know right now. But let me tell you, there's options. So again, here's more options for them to do stuff automatically for you, like setting up your operating agreement and setting up your operating agreement plus your EIN, and then all these extra fun options that I said no thanks to. It'll ask you if you want to open a bank account with, it seems like this is the bank that they're partnered with, Bank of America. You can still select no thanks, do that on your own. And then you can choose expedited or non-expedited for less charge. I chose the non-expedited. But I did choose the Founders Kit because I want it to be fancy and official. But you don't have to do this. You can still say no thanks. So here it'll have your basic package. It'll all say 0. This is the compliance filing for Colorado. Where I live, it's 150. So Colorado must be nice. And then you can just choose how to pay, and then you can agree and pay now. And if you chose the free option, it'll take about 5 to 14 days. For me, it took 10 days. That's how you officially set up your LLC through LegalZoom specifically. Now, there's smaller things in there like having an operating agreement and like a couple other few things that are legally required for you to run your LLC legally, which I just did through LegalZoom. I really didn't want to, again, piss off the IRS or the government by having the wrong information or lacking information on the structure and process of opening my LLC. So again, I let LegalZoom handle that. I just paid them to do it, and I said thanks. Next step I took was to apply for an EIN, which is not necessary for all businesses because with the way that I plan to use my LLC, I need to be able to give clients my personal information, which would include my social security if I wanted them to pay me and for it to be on the books and, tax correct. And EIN is also important to be able to hire employees if that's what you plan on having. Opening a business bank account separate to your own bank account. And my personal reason for having an EIN, which is for tax purposes. I want to point out, I did this through LegalZoom, but it's completely free to do, to my knowledge, in the state that I am in. But filing an EIN with the IRS should be totally free, regardless of where you are. But that is subject to a Google search. Next, I applied for the licenses and permits I needed, specifically for like an e-commerce, YouTube, content creation point. I didn't need to do much towards for my state, but locally I did have to apply for a business license and a home business permit. After that, generally across the board, you will need a sales tax permit to be able to collect sales tax. Then after I got my EIN, my business formation papers, and my business license, I went to Chase and I opened a business bank account. Process of opening my business bank account was pretty easy. You just put like your income that you have so far, what you think you'll make the first year, your EIN, they'll need that social security number for your business, and a couple other things that are personal to you or whoever is opening the business for you. And I got a business credit card as well. These things were fairly easy to apply for and get accepted for, considering the IRS and banks don't really count on you making too much of a profit the first 1 or 2 years. Next, I researched my tax responsibilities, which is federal taxes, state and local taxes, and estimated quarterly taxes, which to my knowledge is something you pay when you're already making a decent profit. You want to make sure you don't have a crazy huge total at the end of the year when you have to pay, or January 15, when you have to pay your yearly taxes. I think because I'm so fresh starting off, that I'll probably end up just doing the yearly tax this time, and then the following year, fingers crossed, I will be able to do quarterly taxes to also keep the books cleaner and all that. Business insurance can also be really helpful to protect yourself. So if that's something you feel like you need, I suggest looking into like a liability insurance. They can be sort of cheap. And yeah, if you think it's helpful, by all means. I say it this way because it takes quite a bit of research to decide which one you like the most. Godspeed. And it's really, really important, probably one of the most important parts of running your business and opening my own business, is bookkeeping. You can do it all manual, physical, yada, yada, yada. But I just opened a QuickBooks account during a really good sale. It's about $2 every month for the first 3 months. And then it goes up to about like $25 for bookkeeping. And it's useful to let you know things like how you would save money having a home office. And if you use your home for your business, all the ways that you can, how you can write off and deduct only parts of like your electric bill, your internet bill, stuff like that. And that's it. That's everything I did to open my business. Talking about it is actually a very short process, but being in it was so long. It took like 2 months to officially, it took 3 months to officially open my business because of all the waiting that I had to do. LegalZoom submitted my DBA for Sweet House Studio misspelled, so that was fun. I had to wait 2 weeks for the misspelled DBA, and then I had to wait an extra month before they got my next DBA back to me. Yeah, so there's a risk with using LegalZoom, but in the end, everything turned out okay. I did waste 3 months waiting, alas. We ball. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Drop them in the comments. Like and subscribe if this helped. And if this I don't know how this would have inspired you to start a business, but if it did, good luck and let me know. And I hope for the best for you. See you guys in the next one.